Welcome to MEELEVATE the podcast show, and I am your host, Mr. Coach Davis, or other known as Rick Now. Today I have a very important topic that I want to discuss because I feel like it's something that never really gets spoken about, and I feel like that it's taken away out of our life in a lot of different situations. So today I want to talk about, as I look at the title, is God in your life? And as you think about that question, is God in your life? That's going to be the title. Because it's very important to realize and have that self-aware, because this is self-awareness that's very important. So today is God in your life? And this is Self-Aware Wednesdays. As I bring you these 4 questions, one as the title, it's something that I even had to ask myself, because I'm the type of individual that always loved God since a child. I always believed in God since a child. But some way I feel like that I lost my way. I lost my way because I'm living in a life of sin. I'm living in a life where they're telling us that honestly sin is normal without using the word sin. This is a very important message. And I think it's very important because God loves us more than we can ever imagine, but they keep us away from God and they keep God away from us. So it's our choice to go seek God. Seek God and ask these questions in our life. Is God in our life? Is God in your home? Is God in your thoughts? Is God in your situations? Is God in your depression? Is God in your faith? Is God in your emotional control? Is God in your self-awareness? Do you put God first? So the first question I got, of course, is God in your life? Is God in your life how you know God's supposed to be? Are you following your intuition when it comes to the relationship with you and God? Are you putting God first, or are you claiming God's position? No. I think we take a lot of credit for the work that God do. And I think we take a lot of credit for the work that God do, even unintentionally. I think a lot of people take the credit of God without even trying to do it. I, this, I, that. And some people try to take God's glory and God's entitlement, God's position on purposely. And I ask this question, is God in your life? Because I think about the kids, and it's even more crazy how, God is not even in our schools. And God is not really barely talked about. Now, I'm not saying everybody in the world that don't know God. I'm not saying everybody in the world that don't talk about God, but there's certain people in this world that need this conversation and need this video. Even if God is already in your life, is God really in your choices? Are you reading the Bible and quoting the Bible, but not putting no action that God or Jesus would take? Or are you doing it your own way and having your own belief? Are you doing your research to really understand and find God and not what just people told you about God? Are you seeking the real truth about God and not what people told you what this is? Are you in a religion and you still judge people? Are you in a religion and still do stuff that's not the godly way, but judge other people anyway? Is God in your life? I mean, your everyday choices. Is God in your life when you being greedy? Is God in your life when you being selfish? Is God in your life when you being hateful? Is God in your life when you can't control your emotions? And I'm not going to sit up here and say that I'm perfect, because these are a lot of the questions that I had to ask myself, realizing that, is God in my life, really? Even though I know God is in my heart. God is in my body, my mind, my spirit. I love God. But am I letting God walk through me, speak through me? Am I truly being the image of God? Am I really being an image of God? Can people see God through me? Now here's when it get tricky. People may see God in you. You may even do good things. But are you really walking in God's shoes? And of course, we can't be God, but we are an image of God. And this speaks even when it comes to different type of religions. I done been in different places. I done seen different religions. I even grew up with Christianity. And I'm realizing, are all of these people really following God? Because I see a lot of people that judge, even though they say that they follow God. And remember, I'm not perfect. But on my journey, and the journey that I have to complete, the mission that I accept, these type of conversations are needed. And it's very important because it's not only needed for me as an individual, it's needed for my kids. It's needed for whoever clicked on this message and still watching it. And don't be ashamed because you have once tried to go to God, go to Jesus, Yahweh, Yahshua, and whoever you went to wasn't godly. So whoever you went to may have turned you away from God because they wasn't serving God the way they were supposed to serve God. And in my opinion, you have to really seek God for yourself. You can be around true believers. You can be around people that have faith. You can be around people that all they do is talk about God. All they do is read the Bible. But if you don't put no effort in to seek God yourself, to see God that can help you out of your pain, to let God reveal who you are, so that way you can elevate, like me elevate. I couldn't me elevate without God, because it took God to elevate me first to make me want to me elevate. Then I have another question for you. When is God in your life? Is God in your life when you just need him? Is God in your life when it's good for you? Is God in your life when it's time for you to use him? Is God in your life just for manipulation? Is God in your life for show? Or is God in your life because you're ready to be a servant? You ready to serve God and serve God's mission? Are you ready to do his will? Are you ready to remove the I in you? Are you ready to remove the I in you for him? Instead of the I, you put God in front of that. This is very important. And I'm not even worried about who don't receive this message. This is about who do receive this message. When is God in your life? Is God in your life all the time? Sometimes? When is God in your family or your household life? And I feel like this is the type of podcast where we have conversations and talk, but this is the type of podcast today where we have conversations and talk, but it's more of asking questions for you to ask yourself. And this is no judgment here. I'm not here to bash you on your head. I'm not here to judge you and say, oh, you doing this wrong. I'm not here for that. I'm here to ask you a question. Is God in your life? Is God in your life how you move, how you treat other people? Are you showing other people by leading by example, by showing the image of God through you so you can bring light to their life or light to their situation? Are you helping others without having intentions to receiving something back? Or are you helping others because you just want to help genuinely? Are you forgiving the people that may hurt you? Are you forgiving the people and not holding on to anger that you hold on to, that you've been holding on to for years? Are you walking in light or are you walking in darkness? Or should I say, are you the light or are you the darkness? Because I've been in darkness a lot of times in my life, but I've always been the light. Are you dimming your light for others to please other people? Are you following your heart and follow your intuition for the bigger reason and for the bigger picture? Are you being a leader and a role model so your kids will have someone to look up to by example? Are you sacrificing what you want for God's needs? Are you sacrificing you want for God's needs that's going to bless your family more than you can ever imagine? Are you putting your needs to the side to save a life? Is God in your life? When is God in your life? I want to get to the next question. How is God in your life? How do you implement God in your life? And you know, this is not a one-day process. This is something that takes every day. It takes every day to get closer to God. It takes every day to work on yourself. It takes every day to develop personal development. It takes every day to work up self-awareness. It takes every day to work up confidence. It takes every day to be able to help other people without having intentions for yourself. It takes every day for stop doing stuff for people's attention and do it for the right reasons. It takes every day to be able to work on yourself. It takes every day to look yourself in the mirror and see the flaws and see what you want to work on. See what you like, see what you don't like, see the insecurities, see the obstacles. Make them into confidence, make them into opportunities. But it takes you. And I realized we always can't do it by ourselves. If we implemented God in all of the situations, if we implemented God in all of our problems, where would we be? And not just implementing God and expecting God just to do it. Are you having faith? Do you believe? Or are you going to God just because, oh, this is my last option. I'm gonna just go to God and they say he can do everything. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. But what are you doing for God? Do you really truly believe? And if you don't believe, are you doing research to be able to figure out the truth and not just listen to other people? Are you following your heart? Are you following your intuition? Are you following the wisdom? Are you following your temple? Jesus said the kingdom is within you. I think that goes over people's heads so much. You know how much it takes to be able to work within? And having God's presence to be able to help you? How are you implementing God in your life? Do you see people that may be down and sad and you just, hey, can I give you a hug? Hey, God love you. You know what? You're great. You got a beautiful smile. Won't you smile? Are you feeding life into people? I don't really see that no more. I see hate. And I'm asking my community, is God in our community? Seriously, is God in the hood? Is God on the streets? Is God in these gangs? We need him to be. We need him to be. If we have never needed God, we need God now. If you have never needed God, you need God now. And if you don't know God, God is waiting to be found. God is waiting for you to call on his name. God is waiting for you to see if you can seek his love. God is waiting for you to come home. And we ain't talking come home like you passing away. We talking about coming home to reveal who your father is. Look past all of these lies, these distractions that we have. God is real. No, I'm gonna tell you a story. So today, I took my children to Kroger's. And I'm gonna see you, and I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna be totally honest. I'm gonna let you know how God work and how the devil work. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show you. So I'm teaching my kids kindness, teaching my kids how to love. I'm teaching my kids how to be respectful. I'm teaching my kids how to be grateful. I'm teaching my kids how to show the image of God through them, where other people can benefit it, right? So I tell my kids, you know what? You can just go up to people and tell them that God loves you. And when I was telling my kids this, and something in me, the spirit is in me, enlighten them to enlighten other people, to let them know that God loves you. Because some people don't know that God loves you. Some people do know that God loves you. And some people need to hear it. They need to believe it. They need to feel it. So I tell my kids. And honestly, you know, we in Kroger's, so we in a place where it's many type of people, all different races, even different religions. So I see my kids, they getting so excited as I tell them. The energy is just changing. You can just see the happiness. If I could see electricity, like on the human body with my physical eyes, I would have seen the energy just charging up. Just the energy, the electricity, the love. God. You can just see the spirit. So they start to go up and they tell this lady, and the first lady she kind of ignored them a little bit, but they heard her. So they was kind of acting timid. So I'm like, say it again. You know what I'm saying? So the lady kind of ignored him again a little bit, but she kind of really didn't hear him. So I was kind of confused. So I said, "Excuse me, ma'am. They want to tell you something." And then my son said, "Excuse me, God loves you." And you can see that she was just shook, like, what? Like, and she looked at me, then she looked at them, she looked at me, then looked at them. So I'm like, okay. They kind of got discouraged, but they didn't give up. Now I'm don't know how to feel, because I'm like, well, dang, I just told them this. They just did it. And it didn't really play out the way, but it still gave them confidence of telling people about God, right? And I'm seeing this from firsthand, not really expecting of what it's going to lead to. So we go to the next lady. This older lady. Older white lady. And she's driving her cart, and the kids go up to her, they run into her and say, "Excuse me, ma'am." She said, "Yes." They said, "God love you." And you can see the spirit of God running through her. She start to twist up and do this, and like, you can just see, like, devil, get off. That's what it literally felt like. I'm sitting here looking at it like, whoa, what's going on? And she had tears in her eyes. And she stayed there at that specific place, and she couldn't go nowhere. And she's just crying, like, but she's not fully crying, like, ooh, but she's just like, in confusion, just tearing up. And it touched my heart, because the kids don't see this, what's going on, because now they running around the store telling every adult and every kid that they see that they telling everybody that God loves them. So as I see this unfolding with the lady, I'm trying to watch them, and then this is when the devil come in. Now I'm starting to get nervous, and I'm starting to feel some type of way, like, whoa, am I doing too much? Am my kids gonna seem embarrassing? Because they going around the whole store, every customer they seen, every worker they seen, they told them that God love you. And do you tell me, excuse me, and I tell you, when I seen the Spirit of God today in Kroger's through my kids, when they showed the image of God through them, and they showed that God was real, and they spoke it out their mouth, and I seen people's hair come up, I seen people shake, I seen people be in the pause, like, what's going on? Like, what? God loves you too. And people start just smiling, and God love you too. And the next thing you know, it's customers all around the store talking about my two kids, because they going around telling everybody God love them. It was so beautiful, because it's so much hate. It's so much hate, and we are taught to hate. We are taught to hate through religion. We are taught to hate through racism, and we are taught to hate through our own kind and our own people. And a part of me was nervous, but a part of me was so proud. part of me was so proud to see God work. And not only to see God work, to see people that maybe not believe in God, or see the people that just having a hard time, or see the people that's just so sad and depressed and they just so lost. And then for a kid to walk up to them and let them know that God love them, and you can see God work and shift stuff right there. You can see God's presence right there. And I'm just asking you, like, is God in your life? Because we need him. I don't care what you believe in. I don't care what religion you believe in. I believe in God. And God do love you. You know? And for a minute, I was going to let the devil take that from me by telling my kids to be quiet. Be quiet. Y'all doing too much. I only told y'all to tell one person. They done told 20 people each. They done went up to 40 people and told them that God loved them in the store, 5 and 7 years old, changing the energy, changing the atmosphere of Kroger's. When we go in here, it's always negative. My next question I have, why is God in your life? I definitely wasn't supposed to be crying. Why is God in your life? Is God in your life for a bigger reason? Are you ready to work for God? Are you going to show people that God is real through you? Why is God in your life? What do you choose to tell people about God as in your children? Are you teaching your kids how to be a servant to God and be a leader? Without God, I would not be here. I would have nothing. I can tell you my story because you got a story. They got a story. And without God, it would be nothing. I would be nothing. It would be impossible to be sitting here talking to you right now, telling different stories if I didn't have God. And I realized, is God truly in my life? Because I have to implement the image of God in my children. I have to implement God in my family. I have to implement God with my choices, with my decisions. I have to implement God controlling my anger. I have to implement God controlling my depression. I have to implement God in everything that I do, because if I don't have God with me, it's easy for me to fail. If I don't have God with me, it's easy for me to be deceived. And I ask you today, is God in your life? And if God not in your life, I challenge you to go seek God for yourself. Stop listening to everybody else of the negative. And if God didn't work for them, then God ain't gonna work for you. Stop listening to the negative religions or the negative preachers or the negative people in your church that may have turned you away or turned you wrong, and having your faith gone, and having your faith not believing in God because it's a false prophet, having your faith diluted because they don't believe in God how they supposed to, or having your faith diluted because they judging you because of who you are or what you been in or the predicament that you are in now. So you have church folks judging you. So now it keep you from God. Don't do that. Don't let nobody stop you from having God in your life. I just asked you these 4 questions, and I'm going to leave you with it before we go to our next. When is God in your life? And how is God in your life? This is Me Elevate the Podcast Show, and I am your host, Mr. Coach Davis, or other known as Rick Now. Be kind, be loving, and I'm asking you, How do you implement God in your life? And show people that God is real. Share your story. Help one another. Make someone smile. Be generous. Love thy neighbor. God is real. And no one ever can change my mind about God. No one ever can tell me that God is not real. And no one ever can tell me not to serve God. I'm not scared of the devil, and I'm not scared of demons, because God is here with me. God would always be here with me. And God is here with you. Don't be afraid. Don't fear. Call on to God. Allow God to save you like he sent his son to save us. Believe in God and believe in yourself. And one thing I will leave you with: be a servant to God, work for God, and watch how our life change. It's Me Elevate, the podcast show. Break through anything. Anything that we are facing or challenging in our life at the moment, present, or even the past, we can break through. But it takes our thoughts to be more powerful than our emotions, because our emotions turn to feelings, and sometimes if we don't control them, then our thoughts run wild. We must push ourselves to the limit, elevate ourselves on an everyday basis to be great, to be better, and a better version of ourselves than we was yesterday. But it takes us to put the effort in. It takes us to put the dedication in. But it takes you to make that choice to change. Without making that choice to change, won't nothing ever happen. Because every day when you take that effort and you push yourself to the limit, you start to see the better things. You start to see the better version of yourself. And some stuff is a longer process. Some stuff is an easier process. But as long as you take effort in executing the process, that's the most important of it all. But it takes you, because if it don't take you, then it would never happen at all. It's important to not follow others, but follow yourself. Don't allow other people's opinions of you or other people's opinion of your dreams stop you from being the better version of yourself or making your dreams into a reality. It takes you. Everybody don't see your vision. Everybody doesn't see your pain. Everybody doesn't see your success. So it's different from different people on how they react, and it's different in you how you react. But you have the power. You have the power to overcome and become anything. It's possible. And remember, Me Elevate is not just a word, it's a lifestyle. I just want to say thank you to Me Elevate and believe in yourself. You know, we all come across different stuff and different things in our life that we can't explain, and some that we can explain. And sometimes we need help. So the one thing that I offer you is God. Go to God first. Put God first. And I believe that your life will change. Not only that, you have to be able to believe in your goals, your dreams, your ambition. You got to be able to use your imagination to make your reality become true. Believe in yourself. Be great. Be a better version of yourself. And remember, Me Elevate is not just a word. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle for you can implement in everyday life. I know that we have big goals. We have big dreams. And sometimes we get distractions that come in our life that's unexplainable. Sometimes we have obstacles that come in our life. And we're not even always perfect. But just do it. Like, I used to have insecurities about me doing a podcast or me doing my Me Elevate videos content. And if my hair is not cut, then I can't do it because I got to look so perfect or I got to be perfect. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. So I feel like God told me not to cut my hair on purpose and still put out all the content. That way I can face my own insecurities of being judged, face my own insecurities of worrying about what people think of me, how they gonna see me, if they gonna play my video because I don't have this or I don't look like this. And I had to realize, like, all I'm doing is causing worry. I'm building fantasies in my head. And remember, you can build negative fantasies in your head as well. Creating that doubt, creating that negative energy, creating fantasies that won't help you. And give a shout out to Mike Todd too. Because I'd rather turn my fantasies into faith, which in reality, I already knew. But even being able to see that message, give a shout out to Mike Todd for that. That crazy faith. Turning that faith into what it's supposed to be. Turning that faith into everything you wanted it to be. I'm just saying it start with you. You got to be able to believe in yourself. You got to be able to want to be greater. You got to be able to implement the greatness in your life, even when your life feel like it's just so low or you are so in darkness or it feel like you alone or feel like you don't have nobody or feel like you depressed or feel like you angry, feel like you sad or feel like you joyful, whatever the case may be. Don't let life beat you up. Don't let life get you down. Don't let people run all over you. Don't let people destroy you. And don't give people the power and the will over you to destroy you. Stop waiting 20 years to be able to do something because you're just trying to be perfect. Do it now. But no matter what you do, and this is a question that I had to ask myself. And it was a question that I not only had to ask myself, but I had to challenge myself. Is God in all of my choices? Am I putting God in everything that I'm doing? Am I putting God in all that I'm doing? Am I putting God in the relationships, the people that I have? Am I putting God in my goals, my dreams, my ambitions, my job? Am I putting God within my family? Am I putting God in with my kids? Am I putting God to have that faith that one day I will have the wife that I want, besides trying to seek my wife? Why seek when I can just have faith, work on me, make me a better person, work on all the negative of me, make it a positive, balance myself, balance my energy, become the person that I need to be, remove stuff out of my life so I can remove stuff out of my life that don't belong here no more, or it's time to let go to make room for her, to make room for my mission, my goals, my ambitions, my dreams, my passion. I just want you to be able to believe in yourself, and I want you to know that God loves you. And put God with everything you do. And I'm not telling you these things to try to say, no, 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 or to look at you like a judge as I judge you. I'm just telling you from my life experiences. I'm just passing you the message I feel like God is telling me to pass on. Because there's somebody out there that need this message. I don't need 1 million views on here. Not saying that I don't want, but what if I help 30 people, 10 people, 5 people, one person, and change their life through my words as they go see God, and God's really change y'all's life? I'm just a messenger, a guide. I love y'all. And I appreciate anybody that support us. I appreciate whoever watches our videos. And I appreciate whoever God allow us to see or to hear these beautiful messages. And I'm grateful for that. Because without God, nothing would be possible. I give everything to the Most High and the Creator. God with many names. God, Yahweh, Jesus, Yahshua. Yahshua. And I just want to say, show the world, show people around you the image of God. Show people the light. Show people that you can be the light and they can be the light too. Shine your light in someone else's darkness. And I always said from the beginning, this podcast ain't for me. It ain't just for me. It's for other people. It's for people like me, or has been in my situations or in a worse situation. Or it can be for somebody that's in a higher position that can open their eyes to get a different view. This is for the people that it's meant for. I love you. Thank you. Be great. And remember, MEELEVATE is not just a word. It's a lifestyle. Show the image of God through you and shine your light on someone's darkness. Yeah, you overcome what you going through. Embrace your power for your breakthrough. And when you MEELEVATE, it's a great view.